Good afternoon, everyone. It is Katie Crysdale here. Thank you so much for being here today. It is Wednesday, March 24th, 2021. Hopefully your day is going well, and thank you so much for joining us here at a different time. This afternoon, we are meeting at a different time to accommodate one of our guests for today who's tuning in from Australia. They'll be starting in about 15 minutes, so shortly after the hour. I want to chat about the sessions that we had on Monday, as well as the sessions coming up on Friday, so we have a good sense of where we are in the final week and a half of the 2021 POOLaide webinars. So thanks to those of you that have been coming out to these live sessions. Thank you also to those of you who are watching these recordings. I did receive the first two recordings for the new webinars from March 1st and March 3rd. From our video editing person. So I do hope to get those up on YouTube in the next couple of days. I appreciate your patience as this process has been a lot longer this year than I anticipated, but the quality of the recordings speaks for themselves. And I really hope that those of you who weren't able to attend sessions live are able to get the same value in watching them recorded, whether it's you, whether it's your staff. Really excellent sessions we've had in 2021 with a variety of different presenters. Let's chat a little bit about the session that we had on Monday. Monday, March 22nd, we heard from Dr. Lindsay Blackstock from Thompson Rivers University. She was here talking about her research on, you guessed it, pee in pools. So this is one of those things as lifeguards, as swim instructors, we have always probably known that there's pee in the pool, that people pee in the pool, they don't get out of the pool. But she's been doing some really interesting research, first at the University of Alberta in Edmonton, and now at Thompson Rivers University in Kamloops, British Columbia. She's been looking at how can we track those levels of urine in pools through the presence of synthetic components that are not dissolved by the human body. So the session she did on Monday was looking at a specific sweetener called acesulfame, and she was discussing how her research looked at statistical quantities of that sweetener in swimming pool water as a way of tracking how much people have urinated in the water. So a little bit different of a session from the other sessions we've had this year, but really innovative research, I think, as somebody who is a pool nerd when it comes to pool operations, a little bit of light chemistry. She tried to keep it as straightforward as possible. So that is a recording that I hope you'll be able to watch when it becomes available. It's really, I think, really interesting research. And we also had a really great conversation at the end of her session about what other areas of research still exist. Swimming pools have a lot of different areas that we could be researching, and it's not necessarily a topic that's been fully researched as of yet. That was the session we had on Monday, March 22nd. So today is Wednesday, March 24th. And today we're going to be hearing from Ramzi Hussaini. He'll be coming up in about 10-12 minutes. I will introduce him before he gets started. And really excited about this session today. I first heard about Ramzi through some different posts I saw on Facebook. I know a lot of us are connected through social media for aquatics, swimming, water safety, drowning prevention. The amazing thing about the internet, and especially the pandemic in the last year, has been the opportunity to connect with different professionals all around the world and see what people are doing in different areas or different regions. And many of those things can be applied in other locations, in other countries, in other provinces, and other states. So really excited to hear from him later today. Coming up on Friday this week, so we are heading into the last few webinars of 2021. We will be finishing next week on Wednesday, March 31st. So the last couple webinars we've got coming up, Friday this week, Friday, March 26th, we are going to be hearing from Brent Miller of Automated Aquatics. He is going to be talking about indoor air quality in swimming pools. So Brent will be talking about air quality, really simplifying it in a way that hopefully is accessible to different individuals, whether you are a pool operator, a lifeguard, a swim instructor, understanding the importance of good air quality. And if you're newer to pool operations, understanding how we as aquatic staff, we can assist with good air quality. So ensuring that our customers shower, ensuring that our customers don't pee in the pool. What does that look like in order to maintain a safe and clean aquatic environment to prevent further contamination? So Brent is going to be talking about that on Friday. We will be going back to our normal time slot, which is 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. Today and Monday sessions were at a unique time, and that will be we'll be reverting back to our normal time on Friday. Coming up next week, we have our last two webinars. So hopefully you can join us. I'm really, really excited. I know I say that every time for every presenter, but every presenter has something different to offer. And I do think the sessions that we have next week will offer something to most pools. So coming up next week on Monday, really, really excited on Monday, we're going to hear from Sarah Tevel. I believe her name is Teveldal. I have to check the pronunciation when I meet with her tomorrow. Sarah is on Instagram. She has a fantastic Instagram account called Flashpool Productions. Flashpool Productions. Definitely look up Sarah. She is based in Austin, Texas, and she is an underwater photographer. Her specialty is photographing people underwater. That could be maternity shoots, that could be children in swimming lessons, that could be mermaid activities, that could be brand collaborations for bathing suits or different products. Her work is really, really interesting, and I've asked her to develop a session for regular aquatic facilities to understand how can you incorporate better photography in your programs and your advertising. We've all seen the same stock images of the same children with the same skin shades doing the same activities across all of North America. Whether I'm in Canada, whether you're in the US, I've seen the same stock photos used over and over and over again. And they're really not that exciting. Sarah is going to be talking about her process for doing underwater photography. And definitely that's not going to make you an underwater expert in 45 minutes. But she's going to talk a lot about basics, right? Whether you have a GoPro, whether you work with a photographer in your area, what sort of strategies are there to partner with a photographer as part of your programming, maybe as a revenue opportunity, as an add-on. Maybe your swimming lessons, you do a photo day as part of your swim programs, and it allows parents and children, when it's not COVID, when it's safe to do so, to get some action shots in the pool that provides your facility a revenue opportunity if you partner with the photographer. So definitely on Monday, Sarah's session, I think you're going to find a lot of value in it. She's really fantastic as a person, and her photography, if you look her up on Instagram, it really does speak for itself. It's pretty incredible. So definitely encourage you to come out on Monday, whether you are a swim instructor, whether you're a facility manager. This can be a component that you haven't previously considered in your facility. So definitely very excited. Coming up on Wednesday next week will be the final session for 2021. And this is a topic that was absolutely requested last year in 2020. This was one of the #1 most requested topics to be covered, and that is TikTok. So the social media platform that had a breakout year during the 2020 pandemic. Whether you love it or hate it, TikTok is definitely a advertising social media platform that is here to stay. So we are going to have Darcy on from the YMCA in Kitchener-Waterloo. She is going to be talking about how she uses TikTok in her work as the aquatic supervisor. to build engagement with the community. She has the same challenges that most of us have in terms of having enough lifeguards, having enough swim instructors, keeping engaged with youth in our community, getting them to participate in programs. Prior to COVID, it did seem like lifeguarding had fallen a little bit out of popularity in Canada. I can't speak to the US or other countries, but that it's no longer as desirable to be a lifeguard. And Darcy has been using TikTok with great success to really, she makes some different memes about lifeguard life, about swimming instructor life, different engaging opportunities with the community. And she's pretty unique in that it's involved with different, she's allowed to do it as part of her work. So I see Sarah is here. Sarah, I was talking about your session a little bit earlier and I butchered your name. So we'll be sure tomorrow when we meet up I need to get the proper pronunciation of your name. So Sarah will be here on Monday. Sarah is the photographer I mentioned who will be doing our session on Monday. The link is in the chat box. You can pre-register for that session. And as always with the different webinars, we are grabbing a recording. Recordings will be up in 2 to 3 weeks. I am a little bit behind this year. So thank you so much to those of you who are here today. We are at a different time. We're meeting in the afternoon, and I do know that this is an unusual time for people to be able to get on a webinar at the end of the workday, depending on your time zone. So thank you to those of you who are here. We will be starting a few minutes after the hour. I will be introducing our speaker, and then they'll have the opportunity to share some slides with you that they have prepared. Let me go ahead and put in the link for today's webinar in the chat box. You can go ahead and click on our website to have a look at the slides or print them out if you're the type of person who likes to do that. Welcome to those of you who are new here. I see some different names that I recognize. I see some names who are new. So welcome. I see Erin here from Estevan, Saskatchewan. I'm going to give a little shout out to Erin as well. Erin is on the planning committee for the virtual Saskatchewan and Manitoba Aquatic Conference coming up on May 11th and 12th. So about 2 months from now. One of the most affordable virtual conferences you can attend in the aquatics industry, in my opinion. If you want to attend the sessions live, you don't want any swag, you just want the conference sessions, the fee is only $35 Canadian for 2 days of sessions. So really excited. I will be presenting a session during those 2 days, and Erin and I will be doing a live tomorrow night, which is Thursday. We'll be chatting probably on Instagram. I'll put a link somewhere on our Facebook page to discussing what's coming up with the conference this year, other presenters, other sessions. It's definitely something to consider registering for. It's very affordable. Everyone is welcome. I know last year we had participants from across Canada, across the US. I mean, aquatics is aquatics, whether you teach swimming in Alberta or Virginia or Texas, it is very much, the principles are the same, and it's really nice to meet with different professionals. Thank you to everyone who is here. I'm going to introduce our presenter now and let him get started in just a moment because I want to respect everyone who's here on time. And thank you so much for joining us at this unusual time. Today's show notes are pinned in the chat box, so you can see where the link for today's session is posted. Let me introduce our speaker, and then we'll let him jump on, and I'll pull up the PowerPoint slides. It is very early in the morning in Australia, so you do need to be extra nice to our presenter this morning. The time difference from me in Alberta to him in Australia is 18 hours, which is like a whole different universe. So today's presenter is Ramzi Hussaini. Ramzi is the Lifesaving Victoria, which is in Australia, Multicultural Project Officer, and a Bond Beach Lifesaving Club member. Originally born in Afghanistan, Ramzi and his family moved to Pakistan and lived there until late 2011, when they made the risky journey by boat to Australia as asylum seekers and refugees. Ramzi now loves teaching life-saving water safety to others And he's going to be sharing some of his personal experiences, in Australia as a lifeguard, as someone new to swimming, and then how that's translated into multicultural opportunities and programs that they as an organization are working towards increased water safety and drowning prevention in Australia. So Ramzi, we'll get you to turn on your microphone and camera when you're ready. And I'm going to pull up some slides.
Where did I go?
Hello.
Good morning. Sorry, I always struggle with finding the right icon and clicking on it.
You're not the only one. I think that's all of us this far into the pandemic.
That makes me feel much better. All right. So hello everybody. Good morning from Australia. So looks like Katie has already given me some nice description. For those who are new, my name is Ramzi and I work for Lifesaving Victoria as a multicultural project officer. As you can see, some pretty happy faces on the screen. The second one on the left is me and the others are role models that Lifesaving Victoria has helped along the way as a pathway program to make sure people like myself settle in Australia, settle Australia in helping them in terms of employment and settling in Australia. Just a quick background information. I live in Victoria. Victoria is in very, I guess, southeast of Australia. So a total population of Victoria is 5.9 million according to 2016 census. Out of those 5.9 million Victorians, people live in Victoria, the 28% of them were born overseas. So 1.6 million over 200 countries. So it is very diverse. There are people from many, many cultures and backgrounds have settled in Victoria. 49, so almost 50% of Victorians, which is 2.9 million, had at least one parent born overseas. So almost 3 million people were born, had at least one parent, either mum or dad, born overseas. So 1.5 million, about 26% of people were speaking another language at home. So their own language at home other than English. Just a quick background of the Melbourne, Victoria's population. So I live in Victoria, and in Victoria we have organisation that works for multicultural people from multicultural background. So who is Lifesaving Victoria? So as you can see, in other states, like let me pull up my laser point. In other states, we've got Western Australia, Northern Territory, Queensland, South Australia, New South Wales, and Victoria. In other states, we've got two water safety bodies. So one is Royal Lifesaving, which looks after the inland waterways, the swimming pool. We've got the Surf Lifesaving, which looks after the coastal, more like the oceans. So two main bodies. However, in Victoria, we are lucky that both bodies, so Royal and Surf Lifesaving, they got together. We are made up of two bodies and we are called Lifesaving Victoria. So Lifesaving Victoria and the communities, what we do, what is our job? So we, as a Lifesaving Victoria, we facilitate water safety programs at the beach, in the classroom, to make sure Australians, Victorians are known to the water safety. Unfortunately, we do get a lot of drowning every year. So Lifesaving Victoria mainly facilitate programs around Melbourne. So this is called Metro Melbourne. And unfortunately, this area was the most affected by COVID because this is the place where mainly people are in the metro around the city. So our main program, our main focus is Metro, because this is where the hot spot for the multiculturalism is. A lot of people settle within Metro area. So with that comes a lot of drowning, and we, as a Lifesaving Victoria, and especially the multicultural department, we run water safety programs for migrants like myself, international students, students come from all over the world for their studies, newly arrived Victorians. So as soon as they arrive, they go to schools and communities, we deliver programs for them. So yeah, like I said at the start, our main focus is Metro because that's where the hot spot is. So this is a quick little background of what we do. And this is the video which will talk about me. So the most important part is here. So I will play this video, which goes for 2 minutes. And after that, I will talk as well. Please tell me if I am talking too fast, because Australian accent can be a little bit different. I'm trying to make it as much clear as I can. Yeah, we do use some slangs, and our accent is a little bit way different to Canadian and English and US English. So please do tell me if I'm talking too fast or if you do not understand anything. So let's play this video for 2 minutes.
While we were on the boat broke down. I knew that a miracle can save us. They couldn't do much. I couldn't do much because I was only a child. I had no sense of danger when I first came, when I was on the boat. But now I know how dangerous it is.
We met in the classroom. We had a day at the beach. He put his hand up and said, I'd like to become a volunteer surf lifesaver. Problem was he wasn't a great swimmer. He's become one of our state youth leaders and has taught the Navy and the Army and the Special Forces about water safety. Who would have known? You know, a guy who gets picked up by the Navy is teaching the Navy about water safety.
I love it. I just can't express it into words.
So that basically sums up the whole journey, my pathway journey. So just a quick recap. I was, mum and dad, we are from Afghanistan, and due to the civil war, they had to move, and we spent quite a few years in Pakistan. Unfortunately, things were not as good, as better as we thought it would be in Pakistan. So this is why my mum decided for me to move to a better country. So that's why she decided for me to be in Australia. So I came in Australia in December 2011-ish. So the programs that I deliver now, I was listening to this program back in 2012. I was in the classroom and someone came and talked about water safety, and that's how I got involved. I came in by boat from Pakistan to Thailand, from Thailand to Malaysia to Indonesia, and Indonesia to Christmas Island by boat. So this is how the journey was, and spent quite a few time in the community detention. So where the basics of Australian culture was taught to us before we were released in the community. And then we were allowed to go to school, and that's where I met people from Lifesaving and got involved in a day out at the beach. I liked the beach a lot because that was my first ever time to be at the beach. Never knew how to swim. So I spoke with David Holland, who the department manager, the guy who was in the video with the joke about a guy could not speak. A guy being saved by the Navy is teaching the Navy how to swim. That's my mentor. That's my manager as well. So, of course, I had to learn how to swim. I had to learn how to speak English before I become a lifesaver. So it took me a while, but I got there. And once I was a volunteer surf lifesaver, then I decided to become a pool lifeguard. So saving life and get paid whilst I'm in Australia. And then made my way up to full-time worker at the pool, and then a full-time job at Lifesaving Victoria. So this is my personal journey. Now, Lifesaving Victoria's objectives. What are our objectives? There are two main objectives. One, the drowning. Why we have multicultural department? Because an average of last 10 years, people who have drowned in Australia, 36% of those people were from multicultural people. So culturally and linguistically diverse. And they represented 36% of drowning. So this is why we are the peak water safety body to make sure the important water safety messages are delivered to people from the multicultural background. Number one. Number two, diversity and inclusion within our aquatic industry. So the statistics from Royal Lifesaving 2018 indicated that only 16% of employees, lifeguards or management were included in the aquatic facility. Only 16% of them were born overseas. 84% were born in Australia, and only 10% of them were speaking another language at home. So 90% were speaking English at home. So our aim is to build that diversity within our aquatic industry. Now, in another slide, I have some examples of people like me, like Ramzi. We have many other role models who works in the community, who inspires the community members, their community members, to become like them and to make the community diverse, to make the aquatic facilities diverse. So I would like you to meet our two role models, siblings, Andrew and Nijema. They both are working at Peninsula Aquatic Recreational Centre Park. They have an amazing story. They have a total different story from me. So I'd like you to listen to their story for 2 minutes, which is outlined in this video.
At the Peninsula Aquatics and Recreation Centre in Melbourne's southeast, Andrew and Najima Jang stand out in more ways than one.
They are shocked, like, oh, and then they ask me where I'm from, and then I tell them, and then they're like, oh, you're the only African lifeguard that we see here.
Last year, Lifesaving Victoria was organising swimming lessons for the local South Sudanese community. Najima was initially asked to help out, only she couldn't swim.
I didn't think I would be able to work as a lifeguard. Mine was just to learn how to swim and even to get my siblings to swim as well.
Najima was born in a Kenyan refugee camp during the Sudanese Civil War, a conflict that saw her family split apart. More than a decade after last seeing her mother, they were reunited in Australia, along with some new siblings.
I didn't recognise who she was, I just knew her by her name. It was exciting to have my siblings there as well, but they didn't even know my name and I kind of had to learn how to say their names. It's kind of like me teaching them like the life here.
I feel very happy to get a good life for my kid because I don't like my kid to be like me because I'm grow up in bad situation.
Ms Maker encouraged all 6 of her kids to take up swimming, which led to Andrew also becoming a lifeguard.
I thought it was pretty important people that are in my culture to take up swimming because it's a very vital skill to learn. They look at me and say if they can become a lifeguard, I can become whatever I want to be, basically.
The siblings were hired as part of a push by Lifesaving Victoria to raise the number of multicultural lifeguards in its ranks.
The situation with the South Sudanese community is very similar to many newly arrived communities. Water safety education and swimming is not a high priority. The great thing about Najima and Andrew is that they've become really influential role models, and they will put water safety in the conversation.
Lifesaving Victoria says around 2,000 people of African origin have so far participated in the project. That includes around 50 people who have either been trained or are finalising their training in both first aid and pool lifeguarding. Several eyes on the lookout for a new generation of role models. Manny Tsigas, SBS World News.
Okay, I don't know about you, I really needed to hear this story again. So this helps inspire and motivate people in their community. And since then, we've trained more than 20 to 30 people from Africa to become a pool lifeguard or a swim teacher. It's because these guys have been a super great role models in their community, and they have inspired people in their community. So that pretty much was their story and how they reunited with their family after years of being separated from the refugee camp. Okay, all right. So why should you have aquatic industry with people with many cultures and backgrounds? Why? What is the reason? There are some reasons. There could be many reasons, but I've put in some dot points, some important ones. First one, because you will have a bigger recruitment pool with many diverse background at your pool. Second, greater inclusiveness. So you are including people from communities who are normally disadvantaged, and you are inclusive, and that is a very good reflection for your center, including those communities at your pool. Your staff members who are not from another country, so people born in Canada or USA or UK or Australia, so Australians or people from born in the country can learn a lot from people born in another country about their culture, about their religion, about their language. So they could mitigate the challenges and barriers that might affect the center or the water safety. Improved water safety at the pool as a result. So people, for example, if someone is attending the swimming pool that I work are from Afghanistan and maybe their English is not so good, I can speak to them in my own language and make sure that they receive the water safety, the very vital water safety messages, so they can help improve water safety. Your center, your swimming pool center, would become more welcoming and ever growing in terms of if you're having population increasing in population of multicultural, your center will reflect and will be more welcoming to people from multicultural background. The very most and important one would be cross-learning, cross-cultural learning. So staff could learn a lot from people from multicultural background and vice versa. People from multicultural background can learn the culture of Canada and the language and all the other stuff that is needed for the settlement. And there could be some funding opportunity for the center as well, because you are reflecting, you are increasing the diversity. So could be some funding opportunities for the pool, raised diversity complementing your local council. So you can tell to your local council that I am inclusive, I am including everyone, every community in my center. I welcome everyone. So you are complementing the council's multicultural strategy as well. And the very last and my favorite is because I have been on the media, positive media and public awareness. So people from multicultural background attracts the media, and your pool will be more popular. Your in terms of attraction, people see you as a role model. So in your local council as well. These are the some points that I thought I would share, because I don't have enough time, so I need to. And if you can think of many, there are many others that you can add in that you may all be aware of as well. And this is why you should. There's a business case of aquatic industry. This video is from SBS talking about water safety and its benefits. So let's hear this video for maybe 2 minutes. Okay, I'm not going to play more than 2 minutes. So basically, the video talked about why big companies like Apple, Google, Coca-Cola, Deloitte spends lots of money on diversity, because they know that there is more success in diversity. People from multicultural background attracts people from their communities, bring more business into the industry, and that is vice versa. That is likewise for aquatic industry. So if bigger companies know the value, I think we as an aquatic or as an industry, we need to kind of understand the importance of the multicultural as well, and especially us in Victoria, we understand the needs of the community, and we provide the vital business or vital water safety messages to our participants. So Lifesaving Victoria, on an annual basis, we see over 22,000 people from multicultural background in school, universities, community centres, early English language schools. So we have a pyramid that pyramid of pathway. So how candidates like Ramzi, Nigema, and many other role models gets identified. So we see them in the classroom. So in the classroom, we go visit them, teach them about water safety, teach them about very basic first aid, CPR and stuff. Last year, we saw about 20, not last year, sorry, the COVID, before last year, we saw about 20,000 people in the classroom. And at the beach, we also take them at the beach and make their day fun and enjoyable and introduce them to water. And that's where we identify them. That's where we meet them first. Out of those 20,000 people, handful of them put their hand up and wants to learn how to swim. About 2,000 courses a year. We help fund those courses at the swimming pool. And again, only handful of those people put their hands up and wants to become a surf lifesaver or do more in terms of aquatic pathway. So we train them as a surf lifesaver, volunteer surf lifesaver at the beach. And after that, if they choose or if they want to become a lifeguard and get paid, so last year we trained about 60 candidates. Handful of them wants to become a pool lifeguard. We help them train as a pool lifeguard, and we get them a job at a local swimming pool. And the final and the last one is we have a partnership with our emergency services, who helps because people from Multicultural are disadvantaged in terms of their language. They are disadvantaged, so we help build a pathway, easier pathway for them to get access to the career jobs. So we have partnered up with our emergency services like Ambulance Victoria, like our Fire Brigade and Fisheries Authority that asks us to put forward some candidate that we trust the most. So then they go to build their pathways into full-time career job. Minty has a similar story, but there's no point of playing the video. I can just talk him through. So Minty was the first ever Afghan lifesaver in Australia. Minty has inspired me and many other Afghan youths within Australia, within Victoria, to become surf lifesaver, to become a pool lifeguard. Minty had the same story as mine, grew up in Pakistan and came here with his parents. Just like we have role models within our within the communities, we have role models in the swimming pools, aquatic centres as well. So Dandenong is a local council within southeast of Victoria. So this is where I used to live, Dandenong, and Oasis is the swimming pool. This swimming pool is a role model to all the swimming pools in Victoria, because this was one of the first pools that decided to take people from multicultural background and made the employment process easy. So rather than having the people like me interviewed in a bigger group with mixed people in Australia, people from other countries, they only had me in the interview because I could be disadvantaged in the interview where people could speak fluent English, whilst my English was not very good when I first came in. So made the process a lot easier and accessible for and more multicultural friendly for me and many others in Dandenong Oasis. So we have a role model in terms of swimming pool as well. Mentoring. Part of my job now is to make sure I mentor people to their employment. So we get recognized like Minty, Imtiaz, and Sue and Hassan and Nijema. So Minty was one of the participants when he first came in, and now he is mentoring people like me and many people in an Afghan community members. Nijema and Andrew and Sue is within the Burmese community. We recognized him at a swimming. We identified him, identify her at a swimming pool, and now she is mentoring and helping other people, other Burmese within her community. Nijema and Andrew are helping within the South Sudanese community. Again, we help them, we identified them at a pool, and now they're helping their own community. So people like Minty, Sue, and Nijema and Andrew, like Ramzi, we've been in the system for quite a while, and we have been mentored along the way as well. So we don't leave them alone. We always help them if they ever need help. Power of role model. They are powerful community influencer, duplicating both diversity and water safety knowledge, and make a better, safer community and aquatic facility. Almost done. So the power of one. So Minty was the first ever Afghan lifesaver. Since then, he has inspired many youth in the Dandenong region to become a lifesaver or a lifeguard, especially within Afghan community members, people from Afghanistan. And so this is a power of one. We believe in mentoring. We believe in role models. They can make a big influence. They can motivate others to greatness. Another example is Abdullah, an individual called, his name is Abdullahi. He has inspired many youth from his own community, and who are now helping facilitate water safety in their own community. So again, this is very important to have community members representing the community within aquatic facilities or within your industry, and it helps them settle in the country as well. Benefits of Lifesaving Victoria and industry partnership model. What are the benefits? LSV engage with pools of thousands of community members from multicultural background annually, as I said in the pyramid. Individual mentors selected for many years. So mentors like myself, I've been in lifesaving for about 7 years, and so as Minty and Abdullahi and Andrew and Nijema. Observe their personal and professional growth over time. It is very rewarding now for me to see people growing every day for someone who cannot even walk in the water to all the way competing in a water safety in water industry. It is quite overwhelming and rewarding to watch them grow. Reduce recruitment risk factor for the pool. So because people like myself, Minty, has been in our system in Lifesaving Victoria system, we've known them for quite a while, and we refer them to the pool, and we tell to the pool, we trust these guys, we know these guys and we've known these guys for a very long time. You can trust them as well, instead of you going to the community and taking the risk of having to employ someone you don't know in terms of safety or in terms of ability. We advise you to take these people because we've known them for a very long time over the years. So you can trust them, and so as emergency services, because they trust us, and our mentoring system, and that's why we refer them to our industry partners. Any resources that you need are on the screen and should be available. I think most of these resources are available with Katie as well. So if you need anything, please refer to Katie, or I will share this in our comment box as well. If you have any question from me, please do not hesitate to email me, or call. Could be costly, but please feel free to give me a call if you want, preferably during the daylight. That would be great. But yeah, feel free to give me an email anytime you want. If you have any questions about my personal life or about anything to do with multicultural and diversity and inclusion. So thank you very much for attending today's session. Thank you very much for listening to me. And I would like to thank specifically to Katie. Thank you very much for this amazing opportunity, for letting me speak and share my own experience. Yeah, it's been an honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ramzi. We'll leave the screen up for just a moment, we'll make sure we update everything on the show notes. So I'll connect with Ramzi via email and I'll get the slides, and we'll make sure we can get all those video links up for everyone to be able to get those links. So if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to throw those in the chat box. I have a couple comments that I want to make, and that'll give you guys a chance to type anything in. So amazing, Ramzi, that you have all those statistics about Victoria. Like you said, 5.9 million people in the province, or I guess you call it the state, and 28% are, they're not born in Australia, or 50% have at least one parent who was not born in Australia. Do you know how long these programs have been running? Like, is it the last 20 years, or when did somebody in Lifesaving realize that this could be a water safety issue?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. Our multicultural department was built in 2007, so it's still young. That's when the need was raised, because that's when, I think 2000, the immigration to Australia started, and people drowned. We saw people drowning more and more every day because unaware of the danger, misreading the conditions, not checking the weather, and most importantly, overestimating their skills. So this led to our industry to build a multicultural body to make sure the vital and important water safety messages gets across to them. And now we have schools and universities that we go to. We have people there. Okay, can we come and speak to your student for a day, for maybe for half an hour or even an hour? We go talk to them about water safety. And this is how we deliver our water safety messages to the community members and to the schools.
Yeah, no, I think that's so important. Like you've mentioned several times, that cultural relevance, where people are learning from role models in their community or people that look like them, and having those conversations about, maybe people come from cultures or countries where swimming is considered unsafe, or they're in a landlocked area. So what was it like for you when somebody said, hey, you should get into lifesaving? Was it something you'd considered, or did they have to convince you?
Again, that's a very good question. Afghanistan, like you said, it's a landlocked country. I had never seen water in Afghanistan. I had never seen water in Pakistan besides taking a shower. Nowhere else in life I would have imagined swimming. When I first came in, I had to cross seas. Australia is the biggest island and the smallest continent. Mm-hmm. So I had never imagined of being in the big ocean. I remember my first time was, okay, this is beautiful, not knowing obviously the dangers. But when I came in, it was a horrible experience, and I'm like, okay, maybe you should have known something about water safety before you came in. So when I first came in, and even actually when I was in the school, they came in and talked about water safety. Someone from Lifesaving, wore red and yellow uniform, came in. I'm like, okay, it's one of those water safety school session. Okay, we were young and wild. Okay, no worries. And then we were taken to the beach, a day at the beach. So my first ever time at the beach. I went there, a bit scared. Obviously, we had post-traumatic stress about the journey that I had taken. I was nervous, but the day was scheduled. The day was modified so for us, so we could participate. Someone from non-swimming background could have fun. So it was structured that way. We had an absolute blast by the end of the day. Yes, I was scared, but looking at my friends having fun, and I was not having fun because I was scared, and many others like me. So I did feel a bit jealous. So I got in eventually. So a person who cannot get in the water, walk in the water, is having fun, splashing around on the bodyboard, lie down and paddle. By the end of the day, was a great success. And then I went up to the guy and I'm like, okay, I want to do more of this. How can I do more of this? I want to become one of you. You're like, okay, can you swim? I'm like, nope. That's when he mentioned, okay, that's very good, but that's a big problem. So he helped me. He funded my swimming lesson. He paid for my swimming lesson, obviously because I was broke. When I came in, I was a kid, 16 as well. So he helped fund the swimming program. I went to learn how to swim for about a year or a year and a half. And then once I was capable of swimming certain distance, then I went to join the Surf Lifesaving Club to make myself a family whilst my family was overseas. So since then, their lifesaving had been a great settlement in terms of learning English, learning about the culture, and most importantly, obviously learning about everything of daily life in Australia, and finding myself a family. So it has been a great tool for me to merge into the Australian community because it was very different for me when I first came in.
I think
so this is how.
I was going to say so much of that is so interesting because I love that you shared that you were alone, because I hadn't even remembered that, right? That if I'm alone in a country and you were going to school probably, or you were taking classes, but you don't have the opportunity to meet people in a safe and fun environment, that I love that idea of having a safe beach day. So we're not pushing water safety education, obviously, but we're providing safe opportunities for you to enjoy the water and then realize, how could this help me, or how could this impact what I'm doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I could have not imagined of working in a water safety industry. So I kind of followed the pathway, went to the surf lifesaving, and then became a pool lifeguard, and I made a full-time living out of it. Brian, is it Brian or Brian? Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Brian.
Brian, do you welcome teenagers as well as young children? Yes. So I was a teen age when I first came in. Young children, little children's, yes, we do support them. We fund some schools. We give the swimming pool the money, and we want the school to go learn how to take the school for the Learn to Swim program. And teenagers like me, individuals, we fund them as well. Some people ring me out of nowhere and wants to become a pool lifeguard. And even actually yesterday or the day before, I had some phone calls. Okay, I want to be a pool lifeguard. Good. How did you get my number? Oh, one of my friends had done this program with you. Now I want to do this again. So again, these role models comes in the middle, and they motivate others. So we do get some unusual calls and wants to become lifesaver. We help them, we mentor them, we train them, and we help them settle and get a bit of pocket money in their pocket as well whilst they're in the school. Do you have program for children and teenagers? Yes, we do have water safety programs, youth programs. Again, we go to the schools, we identify those youth, and then we do have homogenous or separate groups or friends or community. One of the community members would be people from Afghanistan. Someone will approach me. I have 10 people who would like to swim, and they have never been in the water. Are you able to help them? Then we will help fund the whole community, which is 10 people or 20 people, and they take their group to the swimming, and they get a membership at the swimming pool. They go learn how to swim, and they go attend the pool on a daily basis to practice their swimming as well.
For the funding, is that all funding from Lifesaving Victoria, or do you have to go out and seek grants and donations for those projects? What would you know?
Now, all projects are funded by the funding bodies, by the local governments.
Okay.
Mainly the local government approach us, okay, I want my this amount of money spent in my community, in my LGA, local community, to avoid, to sort of reduce the unemployment rate, the crime. It actually helps. It reduces the unemployment rate. It reduces the crime. It gives money back to the local council as well, because these guys are earning. These people are not getting money from the local community. They are helping themselves. Yes, so funding varies from local council to funding bodies, big funding bodies.
And then for your experience, when you took your courses, when you did your lifeguard courses or your life-saving courses, were you in a mixed group with native-born Australians, or did they have specific courses that were broken down maybe a bit slower or more spaced out to enable you to be successful?
Yes, so in the past, when I did my course, it was not homogenous. It was not only people from my community, because back then there were rarely people participating. But now you can actually book for your whole community. And because our department, our organization, have department who runs these courses, we are in constant meetings with them and asking them to make it easier, more English as an additional language, friendly. So people who's in the country, well, only for 1 year or 2 year, nowhere in life they can get the hold of those language. So you need to have trainer who can speak a little bit slow. So you need to have more pictures. We always recommend them more pictures, more action than more talk. And this is what we train our trainees as well. Okay, you guys, when you're speaking, when you're delivering these programs to people from multicultural background, less talk, more action, more body language, so that if they do not understand your wording, they understand your body language, your expressions. There's a not very nice thing that I say to my trainers, but it makes sense. I always tell them that you always overreact to the stage where it becomes common sense. Oh, okay, it means this. Sometimes I even tell them, you have to become like an idiot to make sure they understand, and they're like, oh, okay. Yeah. So
I have learned what you're saying, that like my own privilege of language, I have had students when I teach classes, I realize I need to simplify to the information they actually need, not how I want to talk, right? It's important that they get the learning, not that I feel good about how I talk, right? There's a difference.
Absolutely. And always, I always advise them to talk slow, precise, and clear to the point. Which will make it easier for people who cannot speak English, because end of the day, the people that we deal with are maybe 6 months to the country, or even very newly arrived, or could be in Australia for 5 to 10 years. So the ability varies from time to time, and we need to make sure that everyone understands. So yeah, many diverse programs, diverse community helps build the community, safer community. And yeah, we as a aquatic industry or industries, we need to make sure that we are inclusive. We include those community members to make sure we have a successful and safer community.
Well, and I love what you said, Ramzi, about making the water safety appropriate. I have seen a video, I believe it's Lifesaving Victoria. I'll find the link and I'll post it on the show notes, but it's about a 15-minute video actually about addressing perhaps like foreign students and temporary residents in Australia. Like you said, many people don't even know what flags mean on a beach. I've talked to many people the flags mean that's where you swim, and the conditions of the surf and whether it's safe, and they're not just decorative, they're not decoration, but people don't know that maybe.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Afghanistan. I didn't know we didn't have any flags in Afghanistan because we didn't have no water. So I wouldn't have clue about what red and yellow flag is at the beach. Red and yellow flags, lifesavers. Red flags, no, beach, too dangerous. So something like could be as simple as never swim alone. Always have someone with you. If you get in trouble, there's someone who can help. It can be as simple as checking the weather. Sometimes people can be reluctant and be like, okay, I might go to the beach today, not realizing how the weather could be at the beach, and get in trouble very quickly. So these are the things which may be very, very basic and common sense to me, but not for someone who has been in the country for 6 months. Mind you, they are not dumb. They're just naive. They just don't know the way that the culture runs. So these are the things that could be simplified, and again, yeah, industries and companies needs to provide opportunities for people for them to make sure we get a fair go, everyone.
Well, even with I worked in swimming pools, not at the ocean, but I have a respect for the ocean, the currents, the riptides that many instructors don't even share with their students. When we teach in pools, we should still be connecting that water is different, whether it's a lake or the ocean. We should never assume it's a certain condition or a certain safety. That some people, they don't have, they go to the beach, they think I'm good in the pool. They don't realize that it's a very different condition.
Absolutely.
I have one last question. Unless anybody else has any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat box. I do want to ask you, Ramzi, so let's say where I am in Calgary, in Alberta, we don't have any programs like this where we're not actively recruiting, we call them here new Canadians or maybe refugees, depending on who's settling in my area. How would you recommend somebody start if, they want to develop this sort of program, they want to develop role models, but, where do we find people who might be interested in learning and training?
Yeah, so first thing first, I would be looking where these people arrive. What's the percentage of the local council or for me, Victoria, what's the main area where these immigrants, people, newly arrived people go? And then I approach, if they are school, they definitely will be school aged. I go approach, okay, find what school has the most people from multicultural background. I go visit them and talk to them about the programs and convincing them about your organization, about your intention to help. So community groups. I don't know if there's such a thing in your areas, but we here in Australia and in Victoria, we have community groups. Some of the community, there is definitely, because I know some people from my own background, they live in Canada. My brother-in-law lives in Canada. They have a constant meeting. They would like to meet each other on maybe a monthly basis or on special occasions like Afghan New Year, Chinese New Year. Special occasions, that's where you can find them and talk to them. You can also speak to your local council. They might have more idea of where the main areas are where these people from multicultural background arrives, and that's where you can approach them. But my first approach will be local council, schools, community groups, immigrant group, in another word. Those are the areas that you would approach, and you should have a program that is convincing, that is more a deserted type for them, so they get attracted very quickly. Okay, something. What is, okay, why should I learn about water safety? Or why do I need it? Okay, because you will get to learn how to swim. So there is something for them, because end of the day, they need to balance their work, their life, and the water safety. So some sort of a reward for them. Okay, you will get a free swimming lesson. You will get to learn to swim. Your kids will learn to swim. They will get to learn some life-saving skills. So always that bit of a dessert, so they know if something is for free for them, they will definitely get attracted. And you can make your structure and the pathway. What's after swimming? Okay, after swimming, there could be another opportunity. Maybe your child could work at the swimming pool. That could be something that attracts their attention very quickly. Okay, I would love my child to work in a nice environment rather than do a really hard work. Okay, this is much better option. So these are the things that I would be advising, but people may have different opinions, which might be really, please feel free to type in. I would like to know more as well. We live and learn. If you have ideas, please do not hesitate to share them in the comment box, because I do learn along the way as well, and so is everyone else.
I love your point about the parent also being motivated by helping their children. I've seen that at play in one community I worked in. We were really working with stay-at-home parents to provide them water safety training and employment opportunities to work when their children got to half-day school. They could come in and work maybe from 10 a.m. to 2. But initially getting them trained and getting them interested was saying, well, you can come take these courses and you can bring your child for free swim. There'll be a safe area with a teacher who's, we're training swimming instructors at the same time, or your child can come to work and be in your swimming class that you're teaching. That it solves two problems, right? They're interested to earn money to get out of the house, but then also providing some form of childcare and integration with their needs.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sometimes the local swimming pools here, when we enroll the kids, what they do is to attract them, to bring more business to their industries, in companies. What they do is, okay, if you bring your child, you will get 3 free visits for your whole family. So you can visit the pool for 3 days, 3 times for free, and you can bring the whole family. And once they come in, even if they swim for 1 term, which is 3 months, after 3 months, if we don't fund them, they might come back. Okay, this is the nice pool. I've been here with my family. I might join this aquatic facility because they've been so nice to me. So it brings more business to the aquatic facility as well. So Brian has shared a very nice comment. I work with immigrant community group. There you go. This is where you go see them. This is where the opportunity is. So if I was you as an aquatic facilitator, I would be approaching Brian. Hello, Brian. My name is Ramzi, and I would like to work with you. I have something for you on the table. This is my plan. So connection, programs like yours, Katie, these things bring together. This is something that brings the business together. And thank you very much. I mean, it's great to know that there are things happening. I would love to know where Brian is from, which country.
Brian's near me. So we're just outside of Calgary, which is in southern Alberta, right? So we have the provinces across Canada. We're in Western Canada by the mountains, and just outside of Calgary in the southern part near the US. We have, Canada has a lot of immigration. Obviously, we have a long history of immigration, but more recently in the last decade, we've had special plans in place. Recently, yesterday they were discussing bringing in more Yazidi refugees from Iraq, and we've had a lot of Syrian refugees in the last decade. And so specific, like you said, specific populations and specific locations in Canada with specific interests or concerns. And so I know a lot of Canadians and Americans as well with immigration questions we want to share water safety, our love of water, our activities around water, but in a way that's relevant to people who, we don't want to push it down their throat, but we also need to be proactive, I think. And you've given us some really good ideas that way.
Yeah, look, absolutely. From my personal experience, being a refugee background, we take these opportunities with both hands. Because these opportunities, we didn't have these opportunities back home. We didn't have these luxuries back home. If you're providing me with this opportunity, you are putting a great image on those communities, and you're providing me opportunities with my settlements. So people who are providing these opportunities, they are in benefit as well. You are a great mentor to them, and you've literally saved someone's life, and many. So it's chain of survival, and those people will never forget you, and it'll be an absolute reward and an extra badge or medal to your or a star on your shoulder as well, that you've worked and you helped a community. You are making an impact within the community. And for me personally, that matters the most, whether they appreciate it or not. For me, having to claim that I have some sort of involvement within the community, that is a great honor and thing for me, something to live for, something to look forward to every day.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really, really wonderful way to think about it. And I appreciate your perspectives today, because I do think we can be more proactive. A lot of us have a tendency to create the program, to put it out there, to advertise, and no one comes. But we're using the same methodology that maybe doesn't work for every population or group. Yeah. So you've given us some good tips to, go in the schools, call, be a little bit more direct than we like to be as Canadians, maybe.
I would like to add that promotion matters the most. How you promote will affect how you get your attendance. So just emailing, just go and telling them will not work, and you will struggle. So you will need to find a way. Okay, I've emailed, for example, if I take your example, I've emailed Katie to help me out with something. Email is not enough. Grab your phone, give them a call, and explain every single thing that you are doing. See them face to face, make them believe you. Convince them, okay, this is what it looks like. So have maybe a presentation with moving pictures. This is a world of technology. We survived the COVID and staying at home because I was working the whole time, because we adapt to the situation, and we made use of technology. I would never have imagined of using GIF in my presentation, and being funny in the presentation, but it really helps. So use of technology and going to see them, make them believe you, so that they know, they trust you. Trust is the best thing that you can have, and it needs to be earned. So if you don't see them face to face and you just see them virtually or via phone call, well, good luck getting attendance with that, because you will not. That is 100%, and that will fail. I have seen that throughout the years with our programs, and we are learning every day. And now we know, okay, just an email is not okay. Once you book them in, even if you have them, if they've said, okay, I will come, you need to check on them constantly. A month before the program, a week before the program, our program is happening on this day. Are you aware of that? Yes. On the day of the program, okay, we are here, how far away you are. These things like that. So a follow-up, many follow-ups needs to be required to make sure to get the quality. And of course, your trainer, how you facilitate, will make a big impact as well. If you go talk like that very quickly, that goes over their head and they will never come back. So quality is important as well.
I think also to your point, Ramzi, about following up with them, it's also being a good neighbor, whether it's a good Australian, a good Canadian, right? We might say, as an aquatic manager, I might say, well, I shouldn't have to follow up. But you know what? They have a lot going on. They're in a new country. It's a new language. It's a new culture. It's a new experience. They might need that support for other reasons, not specific to the program. And so it's a nice courtesy. It doesn't take that long to call somebody, 2-minute phone calls for 10 people, half an hour, right? Then you are really paying it forward. Like you said, maybe they don't stay in the program, but they have a positive experience with the pool, with recreation, with the new community.
Yeah, absolutely, Katie. Just one last thing. I'm not going to drag this too long.
Please,
Sorry.
no, please.
Looks like I've been dragging this for
No.
for longer and longer. You do need to understand that these people, I personally, in Afghanistan, if you invite someone in Afghanistan for a wedding at 7 o'clock, good luck getting them at 7 o'clock. So they will all arrive at 10 o'clock. So it is not a thing. Punctuality is not a thing to them. So you really need to, this is why they're cross-cultural learning. They are merging into your community. They are learning, and I've learned. I promise I've learned, and I was on time today.
Yes.
So this is a thing. I mean, you need to be a little bit flexible, and they are learning. So this is why they need to follow up. I know I've heard so much good things about Canada. The Prime Minister, the people of Canada are literally the nicest people I've heard. And I've met personally Katie as well, not personally, but virtually.
Yeah.
You are the nicest community. You are the nicest country. You are very welcoming because you welcome the refugees, people from other community. You embrace them so much. I don't think there will be anything that would cause a barrier to follow up things. And I'm sure people have done it, and people, won't mind doing the follow-ups, because again, you've embraced them into your country. Now is settling them, making them stand up on their feet and do their own stuff by themselves, rather than women. They are not. They are reluctant. They rely on males back their own countries. Here, you are helping them stand up on their own feet, do their own stuff, be more individual, more free. Don't have to rely on males. So you might need to give them an extra pair of hands just to help them out, step up along the way on the ladder. So.
Well, and I think the timing is so important for everyone. I know when I was an aquatic supervisor, I would often schedule lifeguard courses starting at 12 noon, like lunchtime, because I don't want to start a class at 9 a.m. on the weekend. I want to have a Friday night and I want to sleep in a little bit. And it was actually easier for the students because that's what I wanted. You've got a teenager who's 16, 17. They don't want to be in class at 9 a.m. So I think everyone should consider, we get into these routines of 9 to 5, 8 to 4, and it may work for some people, but it's certainly not working for everyone. And so whether it's a different community or a different age, there are different times that we should explore for many of our programs. And I don't think a lot of people consider that, whether it's in the evening, whether it's very early in the morning. Every group is different.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ramzi. I know it's very, very early for you, so I appreciate you joining us and sharing your experiences. I will connect with Ramzi offline and get slides and videos, and we'll update the show notes with everything that's been shared today, as well as additional resources that he's provided, such as like the programs Lifesaving Victoria has. I'll link to the video that I mentioned, the water safety education video. All of that will be on the show notes, which are pinned in the chat box. So I want to say a big thank you to everyone. We'll see anybody who wants to join us for the webinar on Friday. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you very much, everybody. And thank you very much, Katie, for this opportunity.
Yeah, hopefully we'll connect in person one day when everything is better.
Certainly.
Okay, bye-bye.
you later, everybody. See you, Katie.